think the first and most important aspect of good letter writing is to have your own self-imposed rules. I think absent that, I've learned that when I have been asked to do a letter, let's say the day before it's due, the letter's not terrifically good. And so I started some years ago imposing my own rules for myself, and I invite most letter writers to think about how that might impact their workflow and whether they're able to write a meaningful letter. So I have 4 simple rules that I use for myself. These are adaptable. They can be rejected or applied as needed. One of the rules I put into place many years ago was that I do not write letters for persons I have not worked with. That is, if I haven't supervised them, if I haven't worked with them on some kind of study, if I haven't mentored them, I mean, there has to be some working relationship. And then finally, my applicants receive an instruction form. So I'll come back to that in a minute. And that's basically something that I give back to them to have them help me write a better letter recommendation. I think it's good to have an outline for your letters. Mine is very straightforward and simple. I'm going to share 2. Again, this is my very simplified version of having a outline. Again, this isn't a template, although you can have that. I just tend to have an outline that talks first about the relationship I have with them, and that's usually sort of the first paragraph, introducing them, introducing what award they're up for, what residency they're applying to, or what fellowship or what job. And I just talk about that relationship. This is actually borne out in the standardized letter of recommendations that are coming out of OB-GYN and surgery, not so much emergency medicine, but showing that identifying the relationship in those standardized letters is important. So it looks something like, applicant Jones was supervised by me for several weeks on an inpatient, unit or something like that. The second is really their record, and that is anything that would hopefully sort of translate to some promise or some sort of, reason that you're recommending them. And again, an example here is that I will sometimes put they had a very teachable quality that will be appreciated by other program directors, these kind of things. So it's saying, here's the quality that they have in their record, and here's how that translates into something good for you as the receiver of this letter. I then have a 3rd paragraph, or sometime I'm down to my 4th paragraph or so, where I'm trying to remember or trying to come up with some sort of story or success, maybe to have them kind of stand out a little bit in the minds, not necessarily that makes them better, but just makes them more memorable to the reader. So most program directors will share and know that when they're reading these letters of recommendations, or even those who are on awards committees and they're reading, 25 letters or 50 letters or 100 letters, they all start to kind of run together a little bit. So having some kind of something memorable in your letter of recommendation has been pointed out as important. And I think the way that letters come out best are when they have the best information going into them. So I have an instruction form that I adapted, again, many years ago, actually from a PhD professor at Bradley. And what I do is, after a resident or an applicant or a medical student comes to me asking for a letter, I actually share with them an instruction form and ask them to fill it out, giving me at least 10 days before the thing is due. And just like I said, it's exactly as it sounds, instructions for letter of recommendations from Ryan Finkenbein. And it has all the information, like this is how they would list me. For example, if somebody is up for defending themselves in a dissertation, or they're up for an award and they have to list me, this is how to list me. It's got all the things I need from them, including, their personal statement, updated CV. These are all the things I want from them. Then I have some detailed information, again, just their name, title, email. Some of this will be in the CV, but you'd be surprised how often people are more casual these days in CVs. And so trying to get a better, clear idea of what this letter is going to look like. Importantly, to whom is this going to be sent? How should it be addressed? And then I have how long have they worked with me and under what circumstances, in case I forget, which is often. And then lastly here, let's see here. Back to my word choice. I think just, again, making sure the words, count here. So balancing the sort of grindstone words, hardworking, dependable. This is like effort words with trait words. These are things that are not like effortless. They're just simply smart. They're capable. They're brilliant. They're talented. Avoid communal adjectives like nurturing, kind, warm, which tend to be more often used for women. And those have been shown to negatively influence readers. So I try to avoid those kind of terms that sound nice, but actually are less likely to help the person. And then finally, make sure to proofread, sometimes twice.